I've been shooting for the stars so I can get them in my ceiling. Everybody tryna be hard, so it's youngins out here killing. I don't wanna be on the news flash, just another victim. I got bigger dreams, I just wanna realize my vision.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Vinny. We're back again with another YouTube tutorial, and today we're going to be doing a low skin fade. I never actually cut this client before. This is my first time. He was referred to me by another friend from the local college in town. He was also telling me how he's never had clippers on his head. He's only ever had scissor cuts. Right now I'm just spraying on the top. He told me he doesn't really have a particular style. He just wears the hair real messy. So I'm just combing it in a way that's going to help me achieve the fade faster. To start off the fade, I go in with a number 2 guard just to clear some bulk of my canvas. This guideline right here, I like to call my stopping guideline. The reason why I call this my stopping guideline is because now I know I will not be going above a number 2 guard. And I also will not be going above that guideline. Right below that guideline is where I stop. So I have to achieve the fade within that section. On the other side, I do the same exact thing, making sure everything is completely symmetrical. For my second guideline, I go in with my clipper to make the bald guideline. Now, a lot of people normally go in with the trimmer. I go in with the clipper for the reason being I don't want to create a harsh line. When you go in with the trimmer, it does create a hard line to get out and it becomes very difficult. I used to do it in the past. I tried this way. I adjusted 10 times better, so I definitely prefer this way. Right under that guideline, I just shave a little bit of the hair just to make sure that it's nice and clean in that section. Again, on the other side, doing the exact same steps, making it completely symmetrical. Now you might wonder why I kept all that excess hair there, and I'm going to show you right now exactly why I did that. Because directly under this guideline, I'm going to go in with my trimmers and clear all the bulk completely, making it skin as you would have originally if you did go in with the trimmers. Now when I go in with the trimmers, I'm not going to go completely up to that guideline. I'm going to go directly under it, still making sure that that first guideline is not harsh. On the other side, making sure everything is completely symmetrical and making sure everything is in the same exact direction as my stopping guideline that we did in the beginning, keeping everything organized. Next, I'm going to go in with my foil shavers, making everything completely bald. This machine is controlled by pressure, so the higher I go, the less pressure I put, making sure it's a nice blend and everything is nice and smooth. So my first guideline, I open the clipper completely with no guard and I go up 1/2 inch all the way around the head, making sure everything is completely parallel with the stopping guideline. Now I close the clipper to the middle of the lever, and then I go into the middle of that guideline. This will remove that line. The reason why that line is so easy to move is because in the beginning, instead of going in with the trimmer, we went in with the clipper closed, as I showed in the beginning. It just makes it a lot more easier to execute the first bald guideline. Again, on the other side, doing the exact same steps. This just makes it a lot more easier for me. Making sure that we go parallel with the stopping guideline, making sure that everything is completely organized. That's what's gonna different you from someone else. Making sure your fade is organized and controlling the fade. A lot of people know how to fade, but a lot of people do not know how to control the fade. For my next guideline, I go in with a number 1 guard closed. Again, 1/2 inch, making it parallel to the stopping guideline, the same way we did with the half guard. On the other side, following the exact same steps, going up about 1/2 inch, making sure it's parallel with the stopping guideline, keeping everything nice and organized. Now for my next guideline, I go in with the half guard and I flick on that line directly under that number 1 guard until that line is completely out. On the other side, doing the exact same thing, just flicking on that line until the line is completely out, flicking right into that number 1 guard. With the half guard, it's really a lot of corner work where I'm just plucking at the fade with the corner of the clipper, just trying to make sure I get it nice and clean. Now real quick, I go back in with my number 2 guard, just cleaning up that stopping guideline, making sure I have enough room to execute the fade. As I go along with my haircut, I'm starting to have a better visual of how it's going to come out. So right here, I'm just making sure everything is nice and organized. Right here, I go in with my 1.5 guard open directly under that number 2. Then I close my 1.5 guard, and directly under the 1.5 open is where I go in with my 1.5 guard closed. On the other side, doing the same exact steps, going in with the 1.5 guard open right under that number 2, and right under that number 2, we going with the 1.5 guard closed. Again, keeping everything nice and organized. Close it and go right under the 1.5 open. Now for this final guideline, we going with a number 1 open on that last line right there, and we just pluck it out. You can really see the fade now starting to come together, and being that we kept everything nice and organized, you really see the transition of the fade. On the other side, doing the same exact thing, just gonna speed it up a little bit right here. Number 1 guard open on that last line. That line right there, just pluck it out with that number 1 open. Now for the top, he didn't want too much off. He wanted enough hair up top to play with, just a slight little trim. So we just took about ½ an inch off the top. I preferably going with horizontal sections. Sometimes I switch it up and I do go in with diagonal sections if I'm doing a quicker haircut. Right here, I just went in real quick with some horizontal sections, being that he was just getting a trim. Now to remove all this bulk, I go in with clipper over comb. Clipper over comb is extremely important to learn. I definitely suggest you learn clipper over comb. It's one of the first, I'm not even sure how to say it, it's one of the first tools that were taught for barbers, and it's still used today. It is very, very, very important. I cannot stress it enough. It took me a long time to learn it, but once I got it and once I got comfortable with it, I do it almost for every single haircut. I never forget the first time I learned how to do clipper over comb. I used to work at Sport Clips. That was my first barber job, Sport Clips. I was working at Sport Clips and I felt like I just knew what I was doing, and I was doing clipper over comb so fast, and I left a hole in the guy's haircut. My heart dropped so fast I started sweating. He didn't even notice. I just combed the hair right over and just blocked that hole, showed him in the mirror to where it looked like he had hair, and I just sent him on his way out. I ended up quitting Sport Clips a week after that haircut anyway, so I never seen him again, thank God. But clipper over comb, you go in and you connect the shortest hair to the longest hair at a 45-degree angle, and you cut all of it off. Same exact way on the other side, and you use the bottom part of the comb to guide the fade. So as you can see, I'm holding it on the angle of where the fade is flowing. And once you get that first guideline, you can follow that for the rest of the haircut. Then I go in with my thinning shears or notching shears, whichever you call them, just to clean up that excess bulk. I never used to use these. I had a guy actually that I met at Sport Clips who would always use thinning shears, and I'd always say that it was a cheat code. But he used them in a way where he would just get out of line in a regular fade. So I'd be like, bro, that's a cheat code, that's a cheat code. So I never used them until I learned how to fade without them. And then once I started using them in scenarios like this right here, it made such a great difference. And now I use these nearly every single haircut as well. Whenever there's bulk, thinning shears. Definitely my go-to. And these are actually the ones that I got when I graduated cosmetology school in 2018. These are the same exact shears that were given to me. Again, using the bottom of the comb to kind of guide that fade. You can really see the fade now starting to come together real nice. A nice flow, a nice direction to it. Now, going in with the C cups. As you can see in the front, his hair is a little thin, so I do not touch the front. I leave that natural. But I do shape up the C cups enough to make a difference that he probably has never seen before. Because again, this is his first clipper cut. For the C cup, I balance my knuckles on the face and I pivot the clipper in clockwise or counterclockwise direction. Now with the razor work, just slightly giving him some razor work. He's also never had a straight razor on his face before, so just cleaning everything up a little bit. Right there, you can see the fade really coming together. And this is the finished product of the haircut. Again, this is only my second video, so I'm still getting used to this. You can see him right here looking at the haircut. He liked it a lot, so that's cool. I'm glad he let me record it and everything. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.